Goldilocks and the Three Bears. That's a story about white privilege, all right? This white woman just breaks into the house of three bears. Clearly a black family, all right? She has such white woman confidence. She just walks around, eats their food, breaks their furniture, sleeps in all three of their beds. Then they come back to their own house and the reader is supposed to feel worried for her safety. I mean, they're the victims. She's the intruder. It's a freaking white home invasion. Hashtag Bear Lives Matter.
Nazeem Hussain joins us now.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you back at the show.
So good to be back.
You have a real aversion to Fairytales. What do they do to you?
I mean, they're horrible. I mean, you know, they're racist as well. Like Little Red Riding Hood. Story about this innocent white girl walking through the woods, and she gets attacked by a brown wolf in the woods, because I can't say Broadmeadows or Dandenong, can I? So, I mean, but we know.
You haven't got any better, have you?
I'm still waiting for you to open my show, Steve.
Speaking of shows, you are back on the road after 2 years. How does it feel to be back in front of an audience?
Audiences are pumped, very excited. I mean, you know, we're just grateful. We were addicted to press conference for ages. We wake up, memorise the new rules. I went for a walk once in the middle of a state of disaster. Alma Park, local park. Walking left-hand side of the path, mask on, headphones on, doing the right thing. Woman walking towards me, she was stressed out, she was shouting at me, I couldn't hear what she was saying. I took my headphones off, I said, sorry, what was that? And she said, you're walking too slow, mate. She walked off, I ran home, I Googled walking speeds, I thought I missed a press conference. So right now, everyone is just excited to be back in comedy.
It is fantastic. And another than being on the project, of course,
Yes.
when you hang out with us here, what did you do during the great Aussie lockdown?
I mean, it was toughest for comedians. I mean, you were down to your last couple of $1 million. It was
Yeah.
difficult.
It was tough.
I remember no gigs. My manager called me up once in the middle of the whole thing. She said, Nazeem, do you want to do an ad for the government to promote health messaging? I said, I'm an edgy comedian. I'm rebellious. I've got a reputation out there. There's no way I'm going to sell out and do a government ad. She's like, they're going to pay. I was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. So they got me and Waleed to do an ad for the government. There it is. A guy who I routinely get confused for all the time.
Who confuses you with him?
People stop me on the street and they go, hey, Waleed, how do you write your articles? And I'm like, just copy-paste from Wikipedia, tell everybody you know. But I was like, this is a weird choice. Me and Waleed, the only people on TV, everyone's already stressed out about the rules. Now they're getting us to solve an optical illusion. You know, hey, everybody, figure out this Muslim magic eye. Also, weird choice. No one's going to be listening to what we're saying. I'm thinking people are just going to look at the screen and see a couple of friendly Muslim men come on TV, tell you to cover up and stay at home. Sounds like an ISIS hostage video.
That's not the only paid advertising you've been doing, I understand. Have a listen to this.
Oh, no.
Don't you love it when people say, I just love your accent? Where are you from? That's your cue to get your Aussie on. Aussie, born and bred, made and owned. Just like Haynes Paint.
Now you're flogging paint.
Mate, I love paint. I've always been a big paint fan. I mean, you can paint with it. You can,
What's your favourite colour?
I'm so excited about Haynes Paint. It's the only major paint brand that's
Oh,
owned right here in Australia. Go on, paint on us.
You know what? You're right. You really are an edgy comedian.
I'm an edgy,
Unless you give me a Haynes paint colour, I'm not buying any of this.
I'm currently wearing Haynes Paint right now.
Do they have an avocado?
I'm Pete's brother.
Do they have an avocado brand?
They
of
don't. I mean, my
colour?
contract's ended, I think, with that.
You're back on the road. You started with Adelaide Fringe. Where are you off to next?
Brisbane, Sydney, Perth. I've got Melbourne next, which, as Waleed and I found out recently, clashes with the start of Ramadan. So my show's at 6 p.m. and people, we break our fast at like 6:10 when the sun
eat
sets.
on stage?
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna, I've probably alienated a lot of Muslim fans, my own audience. But to counter that, I promise to bring one date per audience member. I'll put it under your seat.
Amazing.
And so come hungry.
You'll be like, you have a date. You have a date.
Everyone gets a date. I'm the local Oprah. I'm the Muslim Oprah.
We got to hang out at the Adelaide Fringe Festival. It was the first weekend. We had a great time hanging out, you, me, and Rove, and a few other comics. And but you were also you had a job to do. We were just doing shows, but you were also the Fringe ambassador.
I was the Adelaide Fringe ambassador. A real honour. But honestly, if you're being considered for the Adelaide Fringe ambassadorship next year, don't do it. You get nothing for free. I thought you walk into shops and people were like, oh my God, it's the ambassador. Here's some food, here's some paint, nothing. Absolutely. But then I hung out with you and Rove and I had more respect and people taking photos of us in restaurants we didn't even dine at. I was like, oh my God, you inspired me to become famous because I was like, this is what it feels like to be an Australian.
But look,
They think that was
this
the
is the
casting
photo.
project.
And look, seriously, I got my eyes closed. That's the worst photo.
What stage of the dinner was that at?
We literally were walking down the street and this guy was like, hey, guys, come into a restaurant. And he took a photo of us and he said, I'm going to stick it up on the wall. We didn't even dine there. Now we're endorsing a restaurant. I don't even know.
What's it called?
Yeah.
I have no idea, but we're on the wall. So
You're
check it out.
endorsing everything else. Why are you that outraged?
Mate, you know, you've got to get a contract signed.
Maybe the restaurant needs a paint job, Nazeem.
check out,
Maybe.
hey, paint.
I love how that guy who owns the restaurant had an accent for half a word in the middle of that. Head to our website to find out how you can grab tickets for Nazeem Hussein's show. Hussain that? You see what he's saying? Anyway, Nazeem Hussain, thanks very much for joining us.